Some of you I notice are not on video, which is fine. Those of you who are on video from time to time, I might use what I see to give you some suggestions. So if you would like to be on video, that is the reason for that. So that I could maybe help you if you have anything specific going on, which is what brings you to one of my favorite and least favorite things, sitting at a computer. I think it just really resonates with just how the body works. It doesn't really work when it's stuck. Okay. I always feel like I want to get out my teaching stick a little bit and like have you, write things down, but you really don't have to. I do remember when I started and I had some brilliant, brilliant, brilliant teachers. I would have to go home and write down stupidest, most simplest things that I could not remember. Okay. And I could not remember them. And they're going to be similar to what I'm going to be telling you because people don't think they're important because they're so simple. All right. But they are important for me to say that because you're going to forget it. And then you're going to go and go, why am I still stuck? Why aren't things changing? Okay. So, one of the most important things to change the body is first to feel it as it is, right? So, that itself is the basis of everything we do. A lot easier than what other people might ask you to think about where you want to get, right? We want our body to recover really quickly after we've been sitting for a long period of time, especially if we have issues that we're challenged with. But the body cannot change unless you understand and feel your own physical body. All right. And that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to start with sort of a beginning and an end and see if any of that makes sense by the end of the class, comparing to what you feel at the beginning of class. All right. So it's as simple as if you look out the window and you keep your eyes shut, you're going to need somebody else to tell you what's out that window. See, they might have a feeling and a connection to it, but you're not going to have a feeling or connection. Your eyes are not open. You have that ability to see. I would just, not everybody, but most people. But if you, same thing with your physical body, you have your kinesthetic sense, but most people don't use it. So basically, it's not benefiting you. So sitting at the computer for hours at a time, even minutes at a time, can make my body nuts. I can't adjust if I don't understand ways into allowing my body to adjust, right? So you actually have to allow your body to change. Okay. And that has a lot to do what we're going to do today, which is in the book, that feeling of the weight of parts of your body, which is again a real kinesthetic feel, like the visual using your eyes. Right now, most of you could feel you have arms, right? That's a really big deal, and they have weight to them. And most of us, especially if we're sitting at a computer for a long period of time because of all the stiffness in the neck and shoulders, I know I didn't have a feeling of the weight of my arms. And if you don't have a feeling, then your body can't move what it doesn't feel. Right? So everything we're doing in the method is really to create feeling in the body so your body can make adjustments. Okay, so that's important. You don't really make the body, right? You didn't, you don't, this is not like, oh, this is my body, so I created my body and I'm going to make it do these certain things. As we all know, sometimes the body has a mind of its own. We don't always know, what's coming our way, right? But then to understand how it works is through that kinesthetic feel. I don't know how my eyes work. I don't know, but I know what I see. And that's what you know with your physical body. The only thing you know, I don't know how the nervous system works, with the body and how it self-adjusts, how it self-aligns, how it breathes, but it does all those things. So you can stop it from doing all of those things. And most humans do. You can even stop it because you have the best intentions of wanting to fix it. So you're doing everything to make the body be something rather than noticing and feeling as it is. What does your physical body feel like? That is somewhat counterintuitive because how is that going to change my physical body? I don't know. I don't know why I unplug my computer and plug it back in and it reboots. I don't know why I see things visually with my eyes. I don't know, but I know it works. And I know that intellectually you can try to fix your body. You could try to make your shoulders go back so you have good posture. All that kind of stuff is not bad. But you might end up fighting with your body for your lifetime if you don't feel it, because your body is going to always return to what it's familiar with. And if holding your breath and keeping your body stiff and forcing your posture is part of how you deal with this, physical body, then chances are you're not allowing it to help you. Right. So that's what we're going to do today. Does everybody have balls with them or anyone? I know somebody is on the chat and asking me to please ask everybody to mute. So just one more reminder, please put yourself on mute if you're, even rustling papers comes through really loudly. So be careful of that. I will try to see who's doing that. All right, so I saw one person has balls. Those of you who have balls, again, at one point, I'll probably ask you to use them. So we're going to start just with two simple things. And these are things that I think are pretty much everything. So we're going to just start sitting. And we're going to do the same thing sitting and lying down. Okay, so sitting, I want you to get a base point of kind of that kinesthetic feeling of your body sitting. If sitting cross-legged on the floor, which I'm not asking you to do, but if you don't have a chair to sit on or whatever, sitting cross-legged on the floor is perfectly fine. I just don't want you to be so uncomfortable sitting on the floor that you won't be able to feel your body. You'll just be fighting with your body. All right. So sit in a way, whether it's on, a chair. You don't need to use the back of the chair. Just, sit your butt on the chair so that your legs are at sort of a 90-degree angle from your torso, from your body, right? Sitting cross-legged on the floor is a whole different deal for some of us. I just want you to get a sense of anything you notice about the feeling of your sitting. How would you describe it if I asked you, not writing a book, but could you describe, just like I could look out my window and tell you, oh, there's a red car and, the trees are in bloom or whatever's going on. Could you describe the feeling of your physical body in any way? Anybody, you could raise your hand or speak up. Anybody know what I'm talking about? How would you describe it?
Mute.
So I know some of you probably, again, I, appreciate that you don't want to speak up. Maybe there's stuff going on in the room as well. But just tell me if that doesn't make any sense. Can you describe your physical body? Go ahead, Laura.
I noticed that the majority of my feet were on the ground, but except for my big toes were up.
Okay, yeah, and branch out a little more than the feet. Get a sense again. The feet are one part, right? But it's a whole body, right? So it's good that you feel your feet because that can give you the perspective on other parts. And anybody else? Like what's forward, what's back? Go ahead, Gordon.
I'll just throw out that one is it feels more scrunched than after we wrapped up Thursday and Friday morning. It was, and I even did practice yesterday, but it was really quite remarkable how I felt Friday morning. But then after a long day at the desk and sitting here now, I have actually the sense for the first time kind of how weird the neck feels and how tight it all is from staring at a monitor. So that sort of just surfaced as a result of checking in.
No, and that's really important because we're going to just do a few key areas today. But the thing that doesn't work with the physical body is the clump mentality of a physical body. It's just clumped together, a whole bunch of parts, and we want it to get somewhere else. We want to, loosen it up and it's going to be better and all that stuff. But you have to, why I'm asking you this question and is to get a sense, like Gordon was saying, oh, after Thursday's class or maybe, I noticed this. And that's what you start noticing. Oh, my body goes from this to this. That's how your body teaches you. So today, Gordon is saying he feels tighter, maybe the back of the neck, the head is forward, right? Maybe branch out, just like I said to Laura, and get a sense as the ribs back, the legs, just be a little bit more global. I mean, the whole body a little bit more. So it doesn't have to be long, but there's more parts. Anybody else?
I have a tightness in the middle of my back, like the bra line, and I just can't get much breath there.
Right. So something again, I'm going to say the same thing to you. That's where the result of something with your sitting, where your head is in relation to your pelvis, or let's just, okay. So rock your pelvis from right to left, right to left. So you're moving that thing right to left. There's not a right or wrong way of doing it. You can get under your sits bones, rock it right to left. Make sure you're not doing most of the movement with the shoulders and the hips are, use the muscles of the pelvis, rock them right. You get on the right sits bone, the left sits bone. And so you get a little sense of the pelvis. Right? You could even roll forward and back on your sits bones, right? It's got a lot of mobility. So you want to know this is one part of your body. And when you sit, right, especially those of you who've been, going to classes and whatever, you want to take in more parts at one time. It's just, you're at that point. It's like you can read a book now. You don't need to have, one word at a time. All right. And then just go up to your rib cage and move your rib cage forward and back. It's another key area we're going to use today. Yeah, don't worry about right or wrong. Move your rib cage around and ask yourself, is it my rib cage? Because you want to know. Again, then we're getting that clarity, right? What you're moving and what you learn about it, right? So some of you are moving your head more than your ribs, but those are things you learn. All right, and then move your head forward and back. All right. Now, it's not rocket science. The head, the ribs, and the pelvis, we all know are connected by your spine, right? Everybody knows that. Your head, move it around, move your ribs around, move your pelvis around. It's all connected by a very fluid and flexible spine. When you're sitting, focusing a long period of time in one position, washing dishes, sitting at a computer, driving, all of those things, you can't move around a lot. You're stuck. And usually the heaviest part of your body, your head, is usually forward during most of those things. And when your head is forward, something else is going to have to go back. It's just the laws of physics. So maybe a lot of you don't notice your head's forward, but your ribs are back, right? That's a really important piece of it. And your pelvis is probably doing something else. So when you start getting a sense of the feeling of your body, just have to. So I'm giving you those 3 words, right? And when you're doing the work yourself, you can't just look for feeling good. I learned that a long time ago. That was a waste of my time. Oh, I want to feel good. I don't feel good. I want to feel good. It's a waste of time. That's not, the body could care less. It's looking for direction. It doesn't work as a clump. It doesn't. Now you want to unclump it. You have to start saying, what do I notice happening here? So just get a little bit more specific with the whole. And then what changes things is that feeling of the weight and your breathing. So go ahead. Anybody notice anything about where you feel muscles involved with breathing? Obviously, you're breathing, you're here. Anybody notice where it is in your body? Anybody have a problem with that? And please, this is for you. I don't care if you have a problem with it. Meaning, what are you talking about or whatever? Do you feel where you're physically breathing? Just, be honest with yourself because that's the beauty of the human body. Your body doesn't BS you. And it doesn't like superficiality. Look at me, I'm breathing. It doesn't go for that. Like you either feel it or you don't. Anybody? So like where in your body do you feel you're breathing? This is how you're doing it on your own. Go ahead, Alyssa. For some reason, I can't hear you and I don't see your mute on. Okay, go ahead. Now your mute is on.
Oh, it is?
Okay, now I hear you. Okay.
Okay. I feel it in my chest and my stomach. I don't know how to feel it in other parts of my body. I'm not understanding.
Okay, so that's a good question. When you do this on your own, you don't try to feel it in other places. It's going to move into other places based on how your muscles, right, start to change, and it can allow the air to move through your body. So it works together, the feeling of the weight and your breathing. So again, there you are wanting something, right? No, stay with what you got. That was a great response. So now go ahead, everybody, make an S sound. A good exhalation on the sound of an S, like S. One exhalation at the end of the sound. So that's you moving the air out of your body. And then do you notice anything with your breathing when the air comes back into your body? So you're going to give yourself a little bit of time just to notice any responses and any changes in the feeling of your sitting. Maybe you notice a little bit more about the way you're sitting, and then you're going to make the S sound again. We're going to just do that for 2 minutes. All right. So you're going to make the S sound. You can ask a question if you want. A good strong exhalation on the sound of an S. And then when you're done with that sound, notice any changes in where you feel you're breathing. That's all.
Holy.
Does your breathing move into any different parts of your body? And notice, is your body making any suggestions to you about maybe how to change your sitting? Maybe it makes some adjustments based on the feeling of your breathing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So make your S sound, and you're feeling not just your breathing, you're feeling your physical body because the air is moving. Your air is moving. I don't know who that is. Sorry. I'm going to have to start muting people because somebody's got something going on. So when you make your S sound and you start noticing your breathing, it's air moving in your physical body. So it's never just breathing, ever, ever. It's where you feel your breathing. You can only feel breathing, right, based on how it's moving in your body. I'm not asking for you to move it in a certain place. Make your S sound. That is muscles moving the air out. So everything about breathing is muscular. Whether it's good or bad or whatever, that's not important right now. Now, after you make the S sound, there's an automatic response in your diaphragmatic muscle, and the air gets pulled back in. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So the air comes back in, so you have an option. There's only 2 options to let your body kind of maybe it accommodates the air coming back in some way. Or you can stay in the same situation that you're in right now. So again, you can open the window, let the air in, or you can keep the window shut. So your muscles, the way you're sitting, is whether or not the air is going to move into different parts of your body. And that comes based on making that S sound. So when you make the S sound, you're activating maybe the sound. Anybody feel the sound is getting a little longer? Okay, so more air is moving out. So chances are you poured more water out of the glass, you can get more air back in. So when more air comes back in, you might notice it's changing the shape of your body in some way.
I noticed that when the air comes back in after the S sound, that it fills up almost into my neck, but certainly through my ribs, and it also seems to accommodate my spine getting a little taller and a little straighter.
Okay. Now, when you make your S sound again, and this goes for everybody, what happens when you make your next exhalation? Go ahead, do it. What muscles were involved now? Because things are changing in your body, so now you're making the S sound. What muscles are involved? Do you shorten again and go back to the way you started? Or that based on those changes you're talking about, Barbara, the air moving into different parts of your body, when you make your S sound, maybe you don't need to tighten those parts of your body. Now that the air is moving into them, we would, kind of benefit from that nice feeling. And when you make your S sound, you wouldn't want to go back to how you started. Does that make any sense?
I feel it in my diaphragm and then below that almost to my pelvis when I exhale and then when I inhale. Exhale on the S sound.
Okay. Okay. All right. So anybody have any challenges or questions with that? I mean, without your breathing, you remain stuck. You can move around after the computer, feel somewhat better, but without knowing what you're physically doing when you're stuck, you're shallow breathing for one thing. Your rib cage is dropped onto your diaphragmatic muscle for long periods of time. Many people do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? The ribs dropping down. Once that happens, it's like you don't have gas in your car. You can't start the car. I mean, it's okay. Most people do that just even without sitting at the computer. All right. So make another S sound. So if you put your hands right around your waist, let's say, you don't have to stand up, but if you put your hands around your waist, all right, and you make a really nice S sound. So this is where your ribs, the diaphragmatic muscle is, right? So if you can even kind of feel under the rib cage there, all around that sort of, it's kind of like the mouth of the cavity, right? And you make your S sound, you can feel that sense that your muscles start squeezing together a little bit, right? Because the diaphragmatic muscle is pushing up. There's space there, your hands are there, and then when the air comes back in, you can feel like, oh, maybe there's some movement against your hands because it pushes down. So this is where all the action happens, right? That sense of your diaphragmatic muscle. So let your hands drop again. If you're sitting on that, then chances are you can't let the air move through the body because you already are contracted everywhere. Everything is kind of dropping. So we want to get a sense of how we start those three parts, your pelvis, your rib cage, your head, sort of that shape of it, and where our breathing is, right? Sort of the shape. So there's more than just your feet or just where you might feel discomfort, which is fair, right? Okay, so now we're going to just do something to continue with that sense of the weight and your breath. Just bend forward. You can do it sitting on the floor or you can do it sitting on the chair. Just open your thighs a bit, give into gravity, and feel the weight of your body fold at your leg. if you're okay with that. Just open your thighs and bend forward and feel what happens to the weight of my head, right? If you want to let it turn, that's up to you. My ribs, remember, that's it. And my breathing. So you kind of first just sort of learning that feel. It's always sort of a warming up. And when you come up, you kind of noticing that feeling of lifting your pelvis, your rib cage, and your head up. So again, it's not right or wrong. It's the experience of feeling the physical body all the way up. Are you balanced in the same exact place? Do you have any different sensation of your breathing? Right? Make your S sound down. A good strong exhalation on the sound of your S. And so again, you could get that feeling of where your pelvis is by bringing your attention there from time to time. The feeling, right? Because the more parts you feel, your brain starts using them. Not the more parts that you go, it better be in the right position. You want to allow the body to make adjustments because you're not holding your breath and you're letting the air move, and see if that gives you feeling in more parts. Try it again. Bend forward, give in to gravity. Notice how you do that, right? When you go forward, do you stiffen your back on the way down? Do you lock the back of your neck? Some of you are. Do you tend to hold your breath on the way down? Are you feeling the weight of your body? Is it about the legs? Can you, again, if your body starts talking to you, and something seems like it needs to move or whatever, but see if you're really letting it fold. And where's your breathing? Now, if you don't feel your breathing, guess what? You're not. It's not that hard. Now, when you come up, again, notice how you do it. Do you start with the back of your neck? Do you throw your head? Is there any relationship to your pelvis? Is there a sense that you feel where the sits bones are? Your body's going to look for balance on the pelvis just by you feeling where the pelvis is. It's going to know where the head needs to go based on the feeling of where the pelvis is. That's why I'm saying you got to just include at least a few parts. Now roll forward and back on your sits bones. Just roll forward and back using your pelvis. And then go up into your ribs, move your ribs forward and back. That's your spine, half your spine. Come on, move it around. You're not going to break. What are you afraid of? That's going to be my next blog. Forward and back and your head. Now just, again, don't throw your neck. I said move your head. So just think you have a flashlight on the top of your head and you're just flashing the light to one end of the ceiling and the other. All right, so you get that feeling of lifting your head up. All right, so you can still feel your head, you can still feel your pelvis, you can still feel your breathing and your rib cage all at the same time. It's easier than what you're doing. Okay, so there's still this missing link from looking at all of you. Anybody have anything they want to share? I shouldn't give the answers away. Anybody? What do you notice about your sitting? Anything changed?
Definitely more head, ribs, pelvis together. In the beginning, I felt like a little slide, like my head, my shoulders, my ribs were all forward and my pelvis was back.
Yeah, and when you feel your body now, everyone, is there something that stands out and you go, oh yeah, I really didn't move that part? Or, oh, I still feel that, crick in my neck, like maybe that has something to do with, some way I'm moving or anything sort of resonate like, yeah, I want more. It's not really working. What's happening? Do you have any more sort of like sense of your whole body and what you're doing?
Like my shoulders have fallen back, and I feel much more width across my chest.
Okay. Anyone else? That's good.
I think that's an area that is still, for me, little rounding in as opposed to expanding.
Anybody else feel that with the ribs? Okay, somebody just was talking to me about their neck feels stiff with their shoulders. Anybody else feel that stiffness in the neck and shoulders? Okay. I have this really great analogy, which I'm going to share with you soon. But feel the weight of your arms hanging alongside your body. You can hang over anytime if you need a break or lie down. Let your arms hang alongside your body. So a couple of things you need to do as far as conquering your computer body. For one thing, you want to start noticing when you're done things like what it did to you, how you're sitting, are you breathing, all of that kind of stuff. I don't want you to feel a chore. Now I have to breathe, but make an exhalation, right? Get used to that. Get used to a sense of exhaling. Certainly don't forget that piece of it. Another piece that's essential to break up that feeling is the sense of the weight of your arms. So feel the weight of your arms hanging alongside your body. And I just want you to, again, this is not an imaginary weight. This is not an imaginary sensation. All right, it's feeling the weight of your arms. And I'm going to ask you to begin to slowly and gradually raise your arms. I'm not going to imitate it, up to shoulder level. And if you can go up higher, go ahead. But do moving from the weight of your arms is, again, slowly enough so you can feel, kind of how you do it. When your hands get up to shoulder level or as far as they can over your head, give a little reach through your fingertips and slowly and gradually come down. Okay, so the only reason we're going slowly, which is kind of a cool thing to do, but again, it's not to make it easier on you. It's actually probably harder for most people, is for you to notice how you do things. You can't change anything without kind of noticing how you do it. And some of you pointed out some interesting things, stiff neck and shoulders. Kelly was mentioning sort of this disconnect to the ribs, maybe that's, yeah, somebody was just, again, mentioning that whole middle of the body. So anybody notice when you move your arms, you can bring your arms down anytime you want. Like I said, you're only up there long enough to kind of give a little reach through your hands, and then you'll slowly and gradually bring the weight of your arms and shoulders down. Notice how they hang alongside your body now. And then when you're ready, you can try it again. So nothing in the body happens as an isolation. So when you do this movement, does anybody hold their breath? And what happens to other parts of your body? So how do you do the, what happens to the pelvis and the rib cage when you do this movement? And is there any change in the feeling of your breathing? The movement doesn't change your body. It's the feeling of the movement that changes your body. Getting a sense of how you do it. Anybody?
It feels like my pelvis goes down when my arms and shoulders go up. Just ever so slight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody feel any change in their breathing? Any movement in the rib cage?
Yes.
Right. So again, when you bring your arms up over your head, what's going up over your head is your arms. I never said lift your shoulders up, right? Your shoulders are the on and off ramp to the highway. All right. So let's say this part of you is the highway. All right. just as a, analogy. And, the arms are the side road, right? But the shoulders are the ramp. Okay, so when you are on the side road and you're moving along, reaching your arms, right? Something has to connect you to the rest of your body. It's your shoulders. If you are raising your arms with your shoulders, it's very painful. And it's not going to lift your ribs, which is what's going to give you the connection to your ribs. So when you come down and you feel that really nice sense, okay, so one of the things about letting the arms down is to notice if the shoulders, the ramp, start to settle down a little bit different before you do the movement again. So a big part of the method is the feeling of stopping so your body can give you feedback, letting your shoulders down. All right. Now, when you begin to move your arms again, notice kind of, is it the arms you're moving or is it the shoulders you're lifting? Right? So as you do the movement, bring your attention to where your sits bones are, the feeling of your ribs, the sense of your head. Notice the feeling of your breathing, right? And just keep the sense that your whole body is kind of going to be that highway, and your arms are going to reach based on that connection of the ramp. When you get up there, give a really nice reach and notice if it's connected. Your shoulders drop down. They don't go up to the back of your head unless you're taking your shoulders and just disconnected. You disconnected the ramp, right? So one of the things you can do when you're up there, let's say, is just slightly bend your elbows, right? Your arms are up there, slightly bend your elbows. Did you feel your shoulders drop down into your back a little bit more when your elbows are bent?
Yeah.
Now, when you reach up, you're stretching your arms. You can keep your elbows slightly bent, but you're reaching your arms. You're not lifting your shoulders because otherwise you're going to have no connection to how your arms freely move. And that's with lifting up your back. Does that make any sense? You can't be lifting arms with shoulders. The shoulders are just the ramp connecting you. They rotate into your back, right? That's why that feeling of your breathing and your ribs can be so helpful to you. Let the shoulders down now. Sense the weight of your arms and shoulders. Make another S sound. And then let your body fold forward now and just get that sense of feeling the weight of your head. Feel your arms and shoulders. Let them kind of get a sense of that feeling of where they are. Let them hang. Very good. But also that feeling of your ribs. Do you let your back give in? Right. And if you take, again, it's a little easier bending forward and just kind of reach your right hand forward and then your left hand forward. And you're sort of reaching away from your pelvis, right? You're not going left to right. You're reaching further away from your pelvis. And again, how far down your back do you feel that movement? Or is it about the shoulders pulling away from the back, right? And then hang again and come all the way back up. But again, notice that you can lift your pelvis up. Lift the middle of your body up, right? Get into that feeling of most of your spine is connected to your ribs.
I was just doing a video.
Right? And your head is really that sense of relation to your pelvis. So your body is trying to connect all these parts,
Oh, that was big
but we
part.
do have to kind of work with it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
What's that? All right, so let's lie down and, again, reaching the arms up is something to do every day. If you can only get to shoulder level, but to start getting a sense of how you do it. If you reach your arms up, most people shorten their back and round their rib cage down. It's the complete opposite. And it's only from slowing down the picture a bit so you can start having choices. Choices don't come from speed. Speed is really something that comes once you've tuned up the instrument. So we're lying down. Lying down is a lot easier. But when you're lying down, which is probably most likely the way you're going to do it at home, but you have some of this sensory experience from what we just did, notice now just what we did sitting. What do you notice about the way you rest on the floor? And so we're just going to go back to those same few areas because it's important to start learning words, right? That was a big deal in life, learning a couple of words. It was interesting. I had my first pregnancy was identical twins, and they didn't talk until they were 5. They had their own language. And so it was impossible to have a normal relationship because of how important those words were. Children, now they had a great time together, which was good because they could communicate. You need your language. And it can't be a clump. When you lie down, you don't have to do everything we just did sitting, but you need to start noticing, roll your head from right to left, feel the weight of your head, sense what the feeling it does. What do you do with your shoulders when you roll your head? A lot of people clench their jaw, hold their breath, stiffen their neck. You want to learn how you do things because that's going to give you options. Go down to your rib cage. Do you feel your breathing? Do you notice that you're breathing different than when you were sitting? Do you let it move into any different areas? Don't work at breathing. That's too much stress, right? Because it's going to be really hard to retrieve it when you need it if it has to really be a struggle. All right, so go ahead, sense the feeling of the weight of your pelvis, the back of your legs, your arms, your whole body at one time. So let's do something with the ball that pretty much puts these different areas a bit, more obvious. So bend your knees, rest your feet on the floor, and let's take one ball in the middle back of your pelvis. But right away, when you do this, your body doesn't work isolated. And when you have had, and most adults do, the computer is just one of the most challenging thing because we sit with the head forward, the ribs rounded back, and it can really pull us in for long periods of time. There's lots of jobs that put us in positions for long periods of time that are challenging on different parts of the body. So what I'm going to ask you to do when you have one ball under the back of your pelvis is using again some of the words. There's the weight of my pelvis. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Did that change my rib cage? Did that change anything in my arms and shoulders? Remember, two options. Life is very easy with the body. You either hold everything in position, which a lot of you are doing right now. You're on the floor, you're still holding, everything didn't change because you lied down. You're still holding your habits. So you want to anticipate now when you pick your feet up off the floor and you let your thighs fold in, how is the rest of your body going to manage that shift of weight? What's going to happen to your breathing? Right? So take it in. You could either prevent change from happening or you could accommodate it. And it's so cool to feel how your body will give you, right? I think that's the hardest thing for me to have understood. In fact, I just fought against it for the longest time, like this doesn't work. It's, even though I kept feeling better, I'm like, that makes no sense. This doesn't work because there's some missing link where we have to understand we don't control the whole body. There's certain things that your body has to do just based on it's a body. And you can't micromanage that. You have to accommodate it. It works as a whole, right? So go ahead, rest there, make your S sounds, sense how your body gives in. Yeah, so Kelly, it looks like the ball is too high on one of, I know there's a couple of, yeah, I would put it lower because that's going to make it easier for you. Bring your arms out to the side. Yeah, so lower might be a little easier. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, looks a little better.
Feels a lot better.
Mhm. Any questions while you're there? I would say, again, you have to ask yourself, are you, waiting for a bus, or are you giving yourself some directions, right? If you don't feel your breathing, that would be a time to make the S sound or do something. So remember, it's very logical. And a lot of us have issues with the middle of the body being stiff and tight. That's the whole rib, shoulder area. So your breathing is essential to change that area. All right, so take your feet down one at a time. Roll your pelvis over to the side. Quickly take the ball away. Feel the weight of your pelvis. Stretch your legs back out. Notice if there's any change in the feeling of your breathing. Did you notice I said that? Any change in the feeling of your breathing? Okay, so that's what you want to ask yourself too. Because again, it's what you're going to leave out. So let's take the ball now, put it in the back of your head and neck. That's the heaviest part of your body. So you lifted up the heaviest part of your body. Did anything else change? If you don't sense your body as a whole, which is not hard, but if you don't do it, you'll know because your body won't change. Right? Open your mouth, soften your jaw. And some of you, I would play around a little bit with where you like your arms, right? So if your arms are alongside your body and your palms are facing down, most of us will notice our shoulders are rotated a little forward. That's fine. Just notice. If you bring your arms up a little bit to shoulder level, palms facing up towards the ceiling, you'll probably notice again, if you move your arms to shoulder level, palms facing up towards the ceiling, you'll probably notice the shoulders rotate a little bit a different direction. So wherever your arms are, that on and off ramp, remember that, to your back is going to change. All right. So again, we're always looking for connection, not perfection. That's what I love about the body too. It's not looking for perfect. You look at children, they don't have perfect alignment, but everything is connected. Very cool. All right, and then when you're ready, reach back, support the back of your head with one hand, quickly remove the ball with the other hand, heaviest part of your body. Feel the weight come down, sense where you let the weight rest. This is great because the head is usually forward on most of us, meaning,
Whoa.
and just get a sense of any change in other parts of your body. So again, you're training yourself. You could flex and stretch your feet. You get a sense, oh yeah, look how far my feet are away from me. You can flex your wrists and hands, lengthen your arms a bit. You move your head forward and back like you're nodding yes to somebody on the ceiling. Look how far away all these parts are from each other. And they're all connected while you do that, right? All right, so bend your knees and rest your feet on the floor. So we did the ball under your head, the ball under your pelvis. So remember the 3 parts, just 3 new words, right? Like you're going to school and you're learning words. It's a kinesthetic feel. This one is a little harder. So you're going to take the ball in your right hand and you're going to roll a little bit to the left and you're going to place the ball in the middle back of your rib cage. So kind of between your shoulder blades, and you're going to rest on the ball there. Yeah, you don't need to lift your head if you do it the way I asked you to do it. Because the last thing I want you to do is lift that massive, heavy head if you're trying to get some relief in your neck and shoulders. All right. All right. So when you're on the ball, if you don't like where the ball is and your knees are bent and your feet are on the floor, all you have to do is slither higher and lower to get the ball a little, where you want it. When you're on the ball, if you hold your breath, you will be very unhappy. And if you try to give yourself, sort of hold a position, you will also be very unhappy because you have to feel the weight. You have to allow your body to feel that bend, right? And if you want to feel a little less of a stretch, take both knees over to the right. So you're on the outside of your right foot, the inside of your left foot, and feel how much happens through the entire spine when you do that. So so don't slide your feet around. You just took your knees to the right, not your feet, right? That's it. And then you can lift your knees back up. And again, rest there for a moment and take both knees over to the other side. So again, you're using your feet and your knees and giving yourself a stretch all the way up through your back. Just check out what your breathing is like. Do you stop breathing? All right, and then when you're ready, you can kind of come back. If you need to take the ball away, please do. And those of you who want to can slither a little higher or lower on the ball to one other spot and stretch your legs out and just rest like that. And notice what happens in other parts of your body. Bring your arms out to shoulder level. Bend at your elbows a little bit so you get that more openness in the upper torso. All right, feel what happens to your pelvis, your lower back as a result. It's a really big connection to that rib cage. Because rather than the ribs being down and back, they're now a little forward, which is nice. And then when you're ready, just reach your hand behind your back or just roll completely to the side. Try to avoid lifting your head to pull the ball away. So if you can't get it with your hand by rolling over to the side, then just roll completely to your side and just hang out there. And just rest on the floor. And just notice any change in the feeling of the way your pelvis, rib cage, and head rest on the floor. And is there any change in your breathing from when we first lied down? So again, noticing those differences starts to get you to be able to not clump your body into that stuck position that we sit at for long periods of time. It breaks it up. Your nervous system and your brain begins to start identifying different parts. Everything's not stuck together, preventing you from breathing. And that comes really from doing the work. Okay, there is no way to think this, to sort of imagine it, right? The physical body is a real thing that really has a lot of sort of intuitiveness to it, sensory experience, right? So roll over onto your side and let's come back up onto whatever way you started. Some of you were sitting on the floor, some of you on a chair. And when you come up, just be very open-minded now to using that sense that your physical body might sit differently. So before you start analyzing it, really let it go to some different places, right? Whatever that is. So again, try to avoid that sense of like, oh, you know, let it move maybe into some different, maybe it's going into a place that doesn't seem even logical to you, right? And get a sense of your sitting, right? So stay with that feeling for a moment, make your S sound one more time. And again, easy going with the S sound. The S sound is not made by stiffening your neck and shoulders. Remember where the hands were earlier? That has nothing to do with breathing, stiffening your neck and shoulders. It's not anywhere near your breathing apparatus, but most people do that. And then when you're ready, just let your body bend forward, hang over, but notice how you do it now. Maybe you're in your body in a little different way, right? Maybe that's better. Maybe you can let yourself bend. Yeah, don't think it to death, okay? Trust the feeling of your physical body bending at the leg. Your legs are strong. All right, let your head move, feel your breathing. If you're not breathing, exhale in some way. Make some sense that maybe because you're holding the muscles tightly then. Press your feet against the floor, press your thighs apart a bit so you get the sense of your pelvic floor. Lift up onto the tip of your sits bones. Use the whole body. Remember, it's electricity. Lift it all up, move it all around. It knows where to go. But you have to let all parts move. You can't be watching over your head, hesitating. I know it's a weird thing because we don't want to do anything stupid. I get that, but we're not doing anything that crazy. When you're ready, just hug yourself like you're just, kind of going to take your t-shirt off and just pull your elbows up towards the ceiling and just pull that t-shirt off and stretch your arms up. All right, and then let your arms down and around. Yeah, so you want to check out when you do that again, just hug yourself. Feel where your ribs are, your pelvis, your head. Take your t-shirt off. Remember those bent elbows. You're lengthening up and just get a little sense of, yeah. So some of you are, let's just try that again one more time. When you lift up your elbows, some of you are lifting your shoulders. And that's going to take your ribs down and back. You want to lift up your elbows, your hands, so that your rib cage can get a sense of movement. Right, yeah, don't force it. That's okay. And then just let the weight of your head bend forward. Let your rib cage round back. Feel maybe your sits bones round back a bit too. Easy with the shoulders, right? And then when you're ready, lift up that feeling of moving your pelvis, maybe get a sense, what's it like? Maybe the ribs do want to move. Maybe the torso has some life in there, right? And let's compare with when you first sat down, just get a sense. Again, that's what you're going to practice on your own. Getting a starting point, even if it's lying down on the floor, is what makes what we're doing different, because it allows you now to compare and say, is anything about the way I'm sitting different? Is my breathing changed? So it's not an imaginary, it's not, oh, I'm trying to do it better, or this is good. It could not feel good. But the fact that you begin to feel the physical body, it will begin to teach you based on you having a more specific, kind of sense, right? When you learn letters, you put them all together and they make a word. You take that for granted. You're doing that with your body. The clump mentality doesn't work. All right, so anybody, any questions or anything you notice about the way you're sitting now? What's changed?
I don't feel as clumped.
Could you be specific what parts?
Yeah, my shoulders.
Okay. Yep. Anybody
I
else?
have just a a lot of weight in the body, like in the seat, my arms, my shoulders. Things are actually a little fatigued.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's definitely part of the journey. In the
Hmm.
beginning, people need to sleep a lot after doing this. And
Hmm.
then after a while, they start to get very energized after doing it. It's a very odd process because we are not taking a pill, right? Pills, the cool thing about them, especially when they work, is you jump from one feeling into another feeling, and hopefully it's good feeling, right? With this, you're feeling the whole journey.
Hmm.
And the weight can be very intense. Yeah. Until you realize the weight is actually responsive to your breath, but that all comes. Anybody
Thank you.
else?
I'll just add I really feel more so even than usual, kind of the independence of this joint. And when I move the sit bones forward or backwards, they really are kind of like independent, which is
Yes,
a nice feeling.
right.
Yeah.
You spell any word, it's a bunch of independent letters creating one word, right? Is song.
Mhm.
It's a bunch of notes, right, that are meaningless unless you connect them together. But when you're singing them, each note matters, but there's a flow. Your body's doing the same thing. That's why the clump mentality doesn't work. You do want to use that ball to get a sense, and nothing's easier than the ball. But I want you to use the ball in a way that you go, oh, like Gordon just said, I feel this. This is a separate part from the other parts, but they all connect. The ball gives you feeling of different parts. Then the movement is, yeah, how am I kind of, and it's your own experiment. Nobody can teach you how to move. Okay. I mean, you didn't need anybody teaching you when you learned to walk. You didn't have your Pilates book. Nothing wrong with Pilates. Don't get me wrong. I exercise. Okay. I move. All right. What I'm saying is movement didn't teach me this. I did a lot of movement before I had chronic pain, and it didn't teach me this. I had other issues. Anyway, that's another thing. Anybody else? Alyssa?
Breathe. I can feel breathing and the air going through my whole body now. Before it was, sometimes I can't breathe deep enough when I'm meditating, or and now I can feel it through my shoulders. I have shoulder problems, and now when I do this, I don't have the pain.
Right. And if you want to, again, just take it to the next step. Because again, I'm a little pushy. You don't need to go to the next step. You could stay at this step for a long time. But the thing that Gordon was saying and the thing you're saying about the shoulders, the missing link to relieving the shoulders is this whole thoracic area, the spine in the middle of the body. And it itself is, again, it's an experiment. How does this thing? When I first started moving it, let me tell you, I was a kid. I was on ice for 2 weeks. I was in a walk up in New York City in and they had a sink. They must have made this sink like the size of your desk. And I used to fill it with ice and go home and just put my ribs. That's how much pain I had in my ribs from moving my ribs from the first time. That was a part of my body I didn't even have pain, but as I started moving them, all of a sudden they hurt. Things when they first start moving, again, everybody's different, I mean, most people don't have the issues that I had, thankfully. I'm not good at the method. I just know how to do it. And you don't have to be good at it. What you want
Hmm.
to do is start branching out a little bit with some confidence that if you got relief at all in the class, you probably could move more than you're letting yourself move. Not to get somewhere, but to enjoy what are those parts. I see a lot of shoulder movements in the group, a lot of neck stiffness, but not a lot in here. Not a
Hmm.
lot in the middle of the body. And this is, oh, just slump back from time to time, lift it up from there. Just it takes time, but oh, that is, again, it's just experimenting. Shoulders are not torso. So you start putting it together. But the ball is very helpful for that. Breathing, like Alyssa just said, is very helpful for that as well.
I wanted to ask you about anybody have like torn rotator cuffs? Because I think this helps me a lot, and I'm trying to avoid surgery and so forth. But I know that I have to be careful too. So, but this does help, I have to say.
Yeah, well, again, you remember brilliant image, brilliant. This one was brilliant. The arm is one road. This is another road. Your rotator cuff is the ramp, sweetie.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If you don't move the middle of your body, you can't rotate that rotator cuff.
Okay.
So if you're trying to keep this in position, not letting it kind of come out of that position a little bit, and that's, again, you could go gradually. You can't move your rotator cuff. You can't move your shoulder.
Okay.
You can do all the shoulder exercises you want to do. And, I get it. But until this part of the body begins to start to have movement, it's more than half your spine, you can't get relief in your neck and shoulders.
Okay.
So just use the word when you're doing your work on your own. When you lie down, just pelvis, rib cage, head. Don't forget the ribs. Just get a sense of what they feel like when you move, when you walk around. Do you feel them? No, I don't feel them. Guess what? They're not moving then. So this is not rocket science. If you're walking around, you go, oh, this hurts. That's the result of other parts. All right? It's the whole. And you just learn that by doing the work and trusting a little bit that it knows what it's doing. Your body's not stupid. It is slow going, because, you go too fast and then, you're not going to enjoy it. But anyway. All right. What's that, Claudia?
I just wanted to say that I've been in very intense pain with my entire torso for a long time. And I found that now listening to this was so good because I haven't been breathing. I've been constricting. I've got this real shallow breathing now. I have a hard time getting air in. I can't even walk down my hall in my apartment to get to my car. And I think that this has been the entire problem. I mean, yeah, my spine has a problem and my ribs I keep breaking, but they're moving now. They're not breaking, but they're in pain. And so I think, could it be just that they're loosening up and that's the pain for that? And that's really, it sounds like a good thing to me.
No, pain also is telling you something. It's taking you in a direction. So pain is telling you need to do something different. I did hear you say one thing, and I would just warn everybody about that. When we are told to breathe, be very, very wary of bringing breath in all the time, because that will make your muscles tighter. Okay. So again, we struggle to keep pulling breath in, and that can make you lightheaded, dizzy, your muscles tight, you feeling like you're off balance. It's called overbreathing, and you could get like a little fraction too much oxygen. And again,
I'm not doing that though. I'm not doing it. I'm not breathing enough.
That's what I'm saying. You're okay. And it's your approach to how.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, it's
cramp it all down.
yeah. It's a journey.
Yeah, 'cause it hurts
I
when
know what I'm saying is sometimes we want more air, but we can't get air in sometimes by trying. we have to realize that sometimes the air isn't coming in because our muscles, again, we're holding them so tightly that
Right.
they can't come in. And so we're sort of in a fight with our body. And, you know, that's why sometimes going gradually, but doing the work is important because there's a clarity of the directions that I have to follow myself because I'm a little hyper. And so a lot of times I have to listen to my own directions, which sounds stupid, you know, because I'm like, you know, trying to get like, oh, yeah, we could do this, you know, and then I'm like, why don't we follow the directions? All right. Well, I hope to see you. We're going to, you know, do this again, but enjoy your day.
Elaine, it's been 15 years since I've seen you. I used to take the class in Stanford.
Oh, I don't recognize you.
My husband, well, probably because I'm 15 years older, my husband made the original benches for you.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to spend some time thinking about that. Well, that was the original. I doubt the original.
No, the next group that we all got one. We all, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's been so many iterations of benches going back 50 years. So yeah. Yeah. Well, nice to see you.
Good to see you. We live half time in Florida, so I have a set of balls in Connecticut and I have a set of balls in Florida. And I have your CDs too. So I'm not good doing it every day, but I still do it.
As long as you're doing it, as long as you feel good, that's, you
I
know,
do.
yeah, that's what matters.
Thank you. This was wonderful. It was a great
You're
refreshment.
welcome.
Yeah.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you, Lane.
All right. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.